part 2 of who the fuck did I hand my health over to? Now, I'm going to start with a disclaimer that says I am not a doctor. I did not go to medical school. This is not medical advice. This is just something that I am encouraging people to listen to so that they can make an executive decision for their own health. Because what I have learned in the last week has been so eye-opening and so mind-boggling that this is just hoping that this will give some encouragement to people to do their own research on the medications that they are taking. It is not to question every doctor. It is not to disrespect any doctor. It's not to say that all of the things that these doctors do not do good things, because a lot of them do. But this is going to say that from what I've found out, there is so much disappointment in our medical system and in the medications that are prescribed that it's worth questioning. It's worth diving into. It's worth doing your own research. It's worth it because it's your health. It's your loved one's health. And when these medications are doing more harm than good, that to me is disrespecting and going against the Hippocratic Oath of first do no harm. Because when you have the knowledge, which they do, that things are doing harm, then you are not holding up your end of the bargain. So I'm just going to start with that because I want people to know that I'm not giving medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I'm not disrespecting any of them, but I am going to tell my story and my mother's story because I know that there are so many people out there right now going through the same pain and struggles as she has been going through. And the reason I know this is because I've been watching video after video after video, and there are so many people in these comment sections saying, I've been on these for years. I don't know what to do. Everything's gotten worse. The side effects are crazy. What do I do? What do I do? It's countless people. And it makes sense because, again, it is one of the most highly prescribed medications in our country. 113 million Americans are put on this medication. That's a lot of that's a lot of people. So that tells me that there are a lot of people out there suffering just as much as my mom was and not getting any relief, and continuing to get sicker and wondering what the hell is happening. So these videos are for those people who cannot figure it out. Because I'm telling you, we figured some things out. So here we go. Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. What's important to know about my mother's health is that she was diagnosed with lupus when she was, I think, in her late 20s, around 25 or late 20s. She was diagnosed when, after she had my sister, my little sister, who is 40 now. So 20 years, she's 65, 20 years ago, 40 years ago. So she's 65 now. So she was around 25, maybe a couple years after. So she was diagnosed with lupus. If people don't know what lupus is, it's an autoimmune disease. It's a disease that, makes it so the immune system will attack itself, or there's a lack thereof of an immune system, right? So, my mom we would all get colds, and colds are gone within 5 to 7 days, and they're not a big deal. She would get a cold and it would take her down for weeks. If she gets the flu, there's a chance that she can get pneumonia. So if you get when certain viruses go around, it takes longer to run their courses. Normal viruses are 7 to 10 days. People with autoimmune diseases, it can take weeks. Okay, so she basically has no immune system, especially at this stage of her life. So this last week, my mom ends up in the hospital because everybody in the family got the flu. Everybody that lives in their house got the flu. Her flu turned into pneumonia because, she has no immune system. And it ends up turning to a pneumonia. She ends up having such a severe case of pneumonia that it puts her in the hospital. Okay, it was very traumatic. We thought we were going to lose her. But in the process of this happening, I have been wanting to know what kind of medications my mom's on for years, right? So she lives in Las Vegas, I live in California. And for, quite a few years, I'm like, Mom, I want to know what medications you're on, because she's on so many medications. Over the years, because of her lupus and her autoimmune condition, she's been going to the doctors for different things. Different things pop up, and then they just kind of feed her meds and hope for the best, right? She's, when you have a chronic disease, you become kind of a guinea pig for a lot of things, because you don't react to things the same way a normal, balanced immune system person would. So, for quite a long time, I've been like, I just want to know what meds you're on, because I want to know what the side effects are, if they interact with each other. It makes me nervous that you're like on all these medications, for so long. And, because I'm the type of person who I do everything I can to not take anything. I barely take an ibuprofen. I study health and wellness. I do everything I can to keep my immune system high without medications. And so it always makes me nervous when I see her, popping all these meds, and I don't know what they're doing. So in this situation, when I, went out there to make sure she was okay and get to the hospital and help take care of her, this is the chance that I'm going to dive in and see what medications she's on, and see if any of them, number one, if she even needs them, and number two, what kind of reactions and shitstorms are they creating inside her body that has no immune system. And I'm so damn lucky and honestly blessed in a way that I was able to figure this out, because when I tell what I'm about to tell you, the amount of anger that I have, it jets out in different places. It goes to different places, but the amount of anger I have for what I found out when I was down there is the reason why I'm here. It's the reason why I'm spreading this information and telling this story, because like I said in my other video, I can't in good conscience sit back and not say anything, because this is not okay. I decided to go through all my mom's medications, and what's weird about it, number one, is that out of the 9 medications that she is on, actually no, there was more, because she had other ones that she wasn't prescribed at the time that she was still taking. They didn't have any of the pamphlets that showed you the doses and the side effects. They didn't have the pamphlets. I had to actually actively look them up. So when people say oh, don't play doctor and don't Google, it's well, what else am I supposed to do? Because the pamphlets aren't there. There were 2 medications that came with the pamphlets from the pharmacy. The rest of them didn't have it. They were just put in a bag and then here you go. So I had to actively look them up. So when people say don't play doctor and don't Google things, I beg to differ, because I had to go figure out what these were and what they were doing. I'm going to dive into this in another video, because the amount of adverse side effects that were colliding in just the medications that she was prescribed is crazy. Okay, it's crazy. So I'm going to do a whole other video on that, because I'm going to get a chart together and everything, because I want people to see how crazy it is that these were even prescribed together. What I want to do right now is just go over the serious side effects that I read in this pamphlet on this pantoprazole that is prescribed for heartburn. Keep this in mind, this medication is prescribed for heartburn. Number 1, a type of kidney problem, okay? It's this acute kidney thing. My mom has had kidney issues for quite some time. Number 2, diarrhea. Number 3, bone fractures, because this medication causes osteoporosis. Number 4, I'm gonna move out of the way here, causes certain types of lupus. This medication, remember, my mom was diagnosed with lupus 40 years ago. This medication not only triggers lupus and the photosensitivity that comes with it, which my mom has, it also makes it worse. So those who have lupus should not be taking this medication. The last one, but definitely not least, low magnesium and other mineral levels in the body. I'm going to dive into this in the next video, because I'm going to let you know what my mom was deficient in when she went into the emergency room. Let's go.